Okay, guys, welcome to this second of a series of 5 on the topic Yacht Charter Program Phase Out. I'm Victor Savoyen, a partner of a company called Yacht-Match that was founded and established about 8 years ago. And together with me, I have Johan Udeberg, who is our project manager for the Phase Out management. And today we will go through for about an hour the most of the content we have produced on their website and also in the ebook to roughly go through what you can expect from your exit if you have a boat in charter at the moment, and what you can expect from the exit in normal cases from a program, the terminology around phase out, what it is, and also our experiences, having worked with this quite a long time, which you will get to know us and our team, and of course how we could possibly help you, and we'll get through that as well. So today's agenda will be in order of the sequence: the charter phase out and handover, what it is, the terminology around this, challenges in connection to the phase out from our charter ownership program, what you can expect in normal cases, case studies and examples, trends in the charter ownership industry, the phase out manager services explained, so basically how we help our clients today, our commitment and your expectations. And then at the end, we'll try to focus as much of the time today on the FAQ and the Q&A. FAQ, you should have a version of the FAQ on the website and also at the end of the brochure as well that you downloaded. So, perfect. We'll go to the slide 3. Maybe first, before we do that, we should introduce ourselves. I think that's well in order. So, I'm Victor Savoyen, partner and founder of Yacht-Match Group, which was established about eight years ago. Been working in the industry for about 14 years. My recent background before we started Yacht-Match together with my colleague Dirk Achter, was that I was a sales manager for a big charter company. And from then we started Yacht-Match as a endeavor and an ambition to be working with clients and being client-centric. So representing potential yacht buyers or people interested in owning a boat with different tailored yacht ownership solutions. From there, from 8 years ago, we've developed now into a group of 5 different companies. We're 12 of us with a long standing history in the industry, quite specialized, and we work from anything from delivering boats as brokers and dealers to doing yacht ownerships solutions, tailor ownership solutions, to sustainability solutions and management and so forth. And together with me, we have Johan Udeberg, also from Sweden, who's our newest project manager, specifically for this the phase out and handover management. So I'll allow him to introduce himself.
Hello, everyone. Happy to be here. My name is Johan Udeberg. I live in Stockholm, Sweden, and I have a background in chemical engineering, and I've basically been manufacturing pharmaceuticals for most of my life, doing project management in that area with a Master of Science degree. Now, having that degree and being an avid sailor, I've ended up as a boat investor. I've taken over my own boat and looked forward to sail with it, realizing what kind of shape I got my boat back in and what the contract said. Just being a project manager, I just realized there's a gap. I found Victor and we had a lot of fun. We actually sailed together just half a year ago through the Caribbean. And the sail was going to be a lot longer, including my whole family. But that's how I got involved, and I realized the value of this gap as an investor. And I've got quite a lot of questions from a lot of other investors where they asked me to, hey, Johan, could you help us out as well? And thought, why not? I love sailboats, and I know what I'm doing, so it seems to be working. So that's why I'm here, and I've started up this cooperation with Victor and Yacht-Match. So I'll continue to introduce a little bit of myself and my conclusions later on as we go through this presentation. Back to you, Victor.
Thank you, Johan. Yeah, so in short, Johan is one of the clients we've helped with his phase out of his boat and charter program, and one of many now for the last 2.5 years. And yeah, Johan, as he mentioned here, quickly found out that there's a growing group of concerned boat owners with their boats in programs, and with his experience and our help, he wanted to take his background in his working experience and translate that into running this as a project and a project manager. So we're really grateful to have him here with his experience and his background and being a boat owner himself in a charter ownership program. So quickly, before we go into the terminology and helping you and getting to the Q&A, just what is, you might be wondering, what is the phase out and handover management we're working with specifically? Well, it's a professional handover management, and it's a service for you as a yacht owner when you have a yacht that's being phased out from its current charter ownership or management. We'll get to what phase out and the terminology is later. The service is in place to assist you and serve you as a boat owner with a professional way of doing this, a project-led handover management, either for you to take home the boat after this, if that's your plan, or to continue with it in charter, another length of term, and another continue with it for another maximum length of the time we have is 10, 12 years. Or if you want to prepare the boat to create value for the boat and trust in the boat, we will get to later, to have a higher resale value of the boat and helping you with the mediation and boat purchase of the boat. So everything is there to prepare. The handover management includes several steps, but the first one is to create a handover management checklist, and then moving on to managing and mediating between the charter company and every one of the third-party service providers that are involved in such a project. Provide assistance and manage legal and tax support. Managing the survey and handover, so overseeing the previous service log, working together with a third-party surveyor, and working together with the charter company to make sure that they fulfill their part of the agreement, and you can get a boat that is expected after the wear and tear situation. Managing the handling of the boat, so the paper, the registration, the handover procedures from the charter company, and making sure the yacht is insured and that your yacht is unencumbered from any debts or any claims, actually. So making sure that you also know that the registration and how the boat has been owned is very, very important. And then we can help you and manage the aftermarket options and equipment. If you would like to continue with the boat in charter and you would like to do some refitting, or you'd like to take the boat home, we also have that whole department doing that. We manage also the help for the transport of the boat. Of course, Johan and us as a team will do all the reporting for you as well. And then, of course, also handling every other boat administration papers that will come up along the way. So this is in short what we're offering, and we will get to the later stages how this can create value for you in terms of the value on trust, energy, everything else, of course, but also how you could rely on having the services to create a higher value, resale value of your boat, or longevity in charter. So moving on to the next slide. This is us. In short, and this information you can find on the website as well, and you can find this information in the brochure. Johan will work together with us as a team. As I mentioned before, we're a team of 12, and I would say we're mainly 3 or 4 of us working directly contact with Johan on this topic of phase out. And that means for every boat in the world. I mean, in the Caribbean, in the Med, Adriatic, and even the Seychelles. Okay, so some definition and understanding the terminology around the phase outs. I think it's important to maybe clear up some of this terminology before we move on, Johan, don't you think?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, perfect. So whenever, guys, you have a question, please use the chat, and then Johan will mediate. and he will later we will take this up in the Q&A section. But the phase out or exit in a short ownership company, or yeah, for them, the definition is in the eyes of their way of doing business is that the boat is prepared for a period of time where the boat is no longer marketed, is prepared to be deregistered, and is prepared to be handed over to you. That's a phase out period. Essentially, what we have seen through working with, I would say, three different big charter companies, which are the worldwide charter companies. They have the same terminology and the same phrasing in their contracts with what it means with phase out. They differ a little bit on how they are doing this, how they're preparing it, and what type of team they have in preparation for helping you with the phase out. And that has to do a little bit with, I think, the way they structure their company and the way they structure their business and their interests towards having you continue as a boat owner with them or having you leaving. I think there's different services in place there. But the period that they normally put in place is at the end of the season when the boat is and the charter season is over. They take a 30-day period where they are inviting you in and asking you for your what your ambition is, what your intention is for the ownership of the boat, who will be owning the boat, and if you can come and see the boat. And they will argue that everything is in place, and they're just waiting for you to come and see the boat and inspect the boat, they say, and what they will do with the boat for you. In most cases, what will happen in the phase-out period is that you will be contacted with someone in charge of that. Could be a base manager, country manager, or a dedicated person at the company that is involved with client concierge services. Or it could just simply be someone from administration asking you questions, or it can be someone in sales. Most often, in the first instance, in sales, someone asking you to continue with them. So basically, saying that there is a trade-in offer for you, where you can don't have to think about the actual exit of your boat. And facing everything that you have to face there. But there could be someone in sales. If that's not interesting for you, no more, they will just leave it over to the base manager and the country manager to sort it out together with the client concierge. And then there's the paperwork that needs to be handled as well, depending on how the boat is registered and where it's registered. But they would like to do that within a quite stressful period. We think it's 30 days is quite stressful, considering that you have to find out in 99% of the cases, you have to find out about a lot of things in retrospect about how the boat has been managed, how the boat has been owned, how the boat has been serviced, documentation, equipment, and everything else. Albeit, if you are a very active boat owner, constantly on your boat, know quite a lot about, yacht maintenance, and are in very good connection with the base manager, and there's only been one base manager and very little turnover of personnel, you should be in good hands. But rarely we see someone that's so active and knowledgeable about this. And active meaning that you're really there every winter service, getting a pre-winter service survey and after winter service survey as well and report. So this 30-day period is quite stressful. We noticed that, and it means that by the end of those 30 days, the boat is on your hands. So in most cases, we see agreements also being very favorable for the charter company, i.e., they have the right to charge you for extra costs. That is for safekeeping and managing and insuring your boat after these 30 days. So, as you can imagine, there's quite a lot of things that you have to think about when you're communicating with them, in terms of knowing how to communicate, but also ensure that you're working along a productive timeline, but also making sure that they're not just putting you in a corner in a stressful situation where you have to accept things that should not be accepted. So the phase out. Maybe is there anything else you would like to add on, Yuan?
No, not at this point.
Any questions you have about this part, the phase out of terminology, please write them here. But you'll find the glossary terms and you'll find the FAQ as well in the ebook. So things like phase out maintenance, phase out start date, haul out, those things are quite interesting to talk about. The phase out maintenance is nothing like a full winter service that you have in your programs, but rather if you want to have a full winter service, you have to agree with a charter ownership provider how to do a full winter service, and then the boat will be in good shape. But what they will do for sure is to save all of that as a point of discussion, because there will be other points of discussion when you do a professional survey of your boat. Regardless, if you have really been on your boat quite a lot and you've really got a full service every winter, and you are in very good terms with your base manager, you should not be worried. But otherwise, there will be quite a lot of things to discuss and discover during this period. And the phase out maintenance is very different to the actual winter service, when the boat is still in caretaking of this company, and they have a professional courtesy to do so, and to make sure that the boat is also there to be told with the standards they have in the rest of the fleet for the next season. So the phase out maintenance is something very different. We have in our company here with the services, we've developed a handover a document and how we control and make sure that we work together with the surveyor and the charter company to go through every item of your boat in terms of controlling looking at its functionality and aesthetics, everything else, and repair work. So we have a list of how we work with that. But every company and every base will have its own list. And it's a way of negotiating together with you and making sure that we have always had an upper hand. So please, if there's any comments, write them and we'll discuss them as well. So moving forward, I think it's good to discuss the challenges that you might face. We briefly mentioned some of them here now, but I think it's good to understand the agreements and the commitments from both sides, and expected challenges and hurdles. So I think at this point of time, I think it's good to go through maybe Johan's experience as well, from your own ownership as well, and what's happened there. And now you being in this position helping other boat owners as a project manager. So maybe you can briefly touch on the understanding the agreements and commitments.
I certainly can. Thank you, Victor. Well, challenges. I wish, and my belief was that I was going to be handed back a boat that was in the condition in accordance with what our contract stated. I tried to do my very best to be helpful, to assist with lists of things to do, deviations that I would define them as. But what you meet is rather a method and a way of ruling where I get the feeling that they're more interested in growing the company and making sure they can sell more boats than to take care of investors' property. In other words, have they taken good care of your boat in the way that the contract states? Are they interested to really live up to the obligations that they face? I didn't realize that aside of what was actually in the contract, yes, they do have to professionally maintain, service, and take care of the boat in a way that really preserves the value. And if I mentioned the gap before, this is where the gap really becomes big, when you realize what they're trying to return to you. And they're doing that in good faith from their side, thinking that we'll be able to hand this over with the definition of wear and tear. Now, I think a lot of investors have swallowed that, some without noticing it. I think some have taken it and been a bit disappointed, but carried on. But I do think that a lot of us are not professional boat investors. And so we're good at maybe, in other disciplines. But I think challenges here are to realize that gap and to realize you're being bullied. Being a bit harsh here, but you're being bullied by the investor in the way that they're making sure that they can take advantage of the fact that they can just hand over the boat in any state and claim that it is wear and tear. Now, you can take it or you can just stand up for yourself or, make sure that your investment is really taken good care of or being sort of cared for, or that you on your own make sure that you are being handed over what you should. So I'd describe that as our major challenges here. So expected challenges and hurdles, there are a series of them. There are lots of them. I mean, going through a boat, and in short, what you need to do is, and what I think Victor will carry on here describing is, we get a surveyor and make sure we get a third party review on the boat. We assure that that is our reference, and that's how we step forward and make sure that we do not buy into any of the selling arguments that they're saying that you made so much money on this boat, or anything that's irrelevant. Make sure that this report from a surveyor is in line with what you're contractually obliged or subjected to expect in those terms. That's a bit, I'm beginning with the big picture of the challenges here, but basically that's what we're in for. Victor, continue with the details.
Exactly. I think understanding agreements is very important. I think understanding your how the agreements that you have signed with your charter company has been formed, whether it's in favor for the charter company or you. But in most cases, you are seen as an investor or loan lender, and that agreement can be described in different ways. But one thing they have in common is, of course, that they're creating an issue for themselves and you because of the fact that the boat will be stressed quite a lot in maintenance and management of the maintenance. So I think it's important to understand the agreements, the fact that they have a professional courtesy to make sure that the boat is always in the caretaking of them, to make sure that the boat is serviced and then they're following all their warranty programs that have from different suppliers. That they are reporting back to you if anything major is happening, or actually if you have a contract where it's stated that they should be reporting as well. It's important that they do that, and making sure that you're valued as a lender or investor, however you want to call it, how to phrase it. But that's quite important. How quite important for you to understand your rights if there should be anything that you want to arbitrate or claim or anything like that as well. So when is it possible for you to do that? Upon what stage? If you fear that something is not right, when do you have the time to do this? Is this really in your interest? Do you have energy to do this? Of course, maybe you only want to come to a solution, but sometimes the solution is better to put some pressure and to make sure that they understand your position. So I think that's also quite important. It's also understanding the agreements and how it looks with VAT. I think a lot of you will have questions about registration, what happens after the deregistrate the boat, and how do you calculate VAT. That also has to do with how we understand how the boat has been financed and how it's been owned. And most often, this is very esoteric information. We don't share that at all. There's no bookkeeping, no openness, transparency. So it's finding out in retrospect, but doing that as early as possible will make sure that we don't end up with some shortcomings in both ways. And then also understanding what is their legal right when they're handing over the boat. Can they withhold handing over the boat to you, pending sort of the last bill of payment, or pending anything else that they need you to sign? In most cases, they will always waiver. All of them, actually, charter companies will waiver a paper in front of you that now when the boat is handed over, you do not, there's no other claims you can do. It's you accept it as it is, and you can come back. It's very important that before that happens and you sign a paper that you have stated your position, so they know that as well, so they know that you're right. And I think also commitments from both sides must be that the communication is clear on dates and times where you when you're expected to see the boat, that they should expect that third party surveyor is there. They have to accept the surveyors, and that your only intention is to get the boat out as good as condition as possible, obviously. So there, I mean, it's we knowing the agreements, knowing your what you need to commit towards and what they're have to commit towards as well in the way your relationship is in this agreement is very important. Just to go through the phase out and what's quite commonly mistaken or misunderstood or something like that, which has to do with wear and tear. It's often that the program states that the yacht will be handed over in the best possible condition and allow for wear and tear. Um, and it's such a vague and unclear terminology that it's just really in favor for the charter companies, I'm afraid. So you really have to start quite early to investigate and to make sure that you can claim some sort of distrust or however you want to phrase it, but you need to make sure that this is not used in favor for them in the end to be negotiating together with, against you. So most cases we've seen that the maintenance logs are stressfully put together or at best filled out arbitrarily by someone. If we're really unlucky, we have a high turnover of technical personnel at the base which miss out or write something or don't write something. And it's quite easy just to write that something has been done, but how it's been done is what we find out in an actual survey report as well. So I think if you take those things in consideration, it's not only kind of a lot of time and energy put into this to make sure that it's properly handed over to you, but it's also an opportunity to miss out on quite a lot of options for you to make sure that you're handed over a boat that's trustworthy and that you can create value in this as well for the future of someone buying the boat or the boat going into next charter ownership as well. So we always make sure that by the end of the accepting the handover, we make a checklist, and yeah, the vessel should be insured. That should be terminated the day the boat's handed over to you. Um, what we agree upon in the survey is sticking. We're sticking to that. What they should be working on to make sure that the boat is in that proper condition at handover. Full set of delivery charts should be on board, both keys, both documentation papers, custom clearing documents, the complete itinerary of the boat that you agreed upon. And should there be anything changed there or lesser equipment on boat or something like that needs to be discussed and compensated, of course. All your personal belongings that you had stored at the base or anything that you had as an extra equipment on your boat. Everything else that belongs as part of the coding in that country. So you can legally take out the boat, maintenance logs, and to make sure that the boat is unencumbered as well. So there's no claims or other bills that needs to be paid on the boat. We've seen all too many charter companies not paying their marina fees and for years and having and I'm very afraid that that's quite common in this industry. That not all bills are paid and there's corners cut. So yeah, really having support and help in this, we have found out is quite a daunting task. But having support and help in this, and knowing as well that you have a good network of service provider around you, would really help you with this. But these are some of the expected challenges and hurdles. I think we can go into lengths about this, but I think we would like to know a little bit more individually about your boat and your background and if you've encountered any problems. I think we will have that in individual meetings. And it's easier for us to advise and guide you as well if you need to be worried or if there's something that we can help you with. But we have quite a lot of individual cases, which we will go through later. We have quite a lot of referrals and testimonials that you can always speak to about how we've helped them. But it's really, really every case and every boat is a case in itself, even though all these contracts are quite standardized. That's what I would like to say on that. Please, a reminder again that you can always write and comment. and Johan will mediate, and we'll pick it up in the Q&A. So that's a little bit about what to expect. I think we will go through a little bit more about what you can expect from later as well about the services from our side, I think. But in short, I think just briefing on, I think what Johan also experienced, and I think I'm talking for Johan and you if you're interested in our services, is that the professional handover management will ensure that we're eliminating as much as possible of the value depreciation of the boat, and that's something that Johan can testify. And I think, well, actually, all of our clients that we've helped now can testify that we've created quite a substantial increase in value in terms of when we have sold the boat for our clients compared to what the charter companies offered them if they want to broker it. That has to do with how we work with creating trust and removing the stamp. That's how we say it in the boat, in the integrity of the boat as well. So that's really, I think, one of the main reasons there, not just the energy and the time and everything else that it takes, and this daunting task of knowing what your options are. But I think that's the main thing here. The second thing is, of course, risking to receive a boat with defaults and no proper documentation. I think the survey report is helpful. They will only tell you what's really wrong on the boat, but then after that, also you have to have someone to negotiate for you that these things are amended. And the surveyor would never do that because they can't. Professionally, they have their courtesy not to do so. They can come with structured reports on what they will think it will cost to have it professionally taken care of. The issues are on the boat, but I think risk of receiving a yacht with defaults and having no proper documentation can really be a stressful situation for boat owners. We've seen boat owners who've had registrations on their boats in a very, not the right way, essentially, when we've helped them to take over the boat, and to re-register the boat again has been not only daunting, but quite impossible. So we've had to move the boat out of the country. So this can really present a problem for you if you want to take over the boat as is. The third thing is, it's quite obvious, I think, what you can expect and why you should use a professional handover management. Anyone that can help you here with experience is that it is quite time consuming and energy consuming. We don't take it personal. We're quite used to this, but we appreciate and we know that you take it personal. It's really your investment in your boat and your hopes and dreams. So we have created a product management around this and tasks, and we know how to communicate, and we know how to take away the feelings about this. So I think, removing this time energy consuming task of being faced with this yourself, it's something that we happily take over, of course. And then the fourth thing I think I need to mention is just knowing your options and just keeping them open. I think you should be, if you have determined from the beginning when you bought the boat that you want to take it home and use it as a private boat, let's aim for that. Let's really try to make sure that that's still part of your dreams and hopes. Or you had some promises from the charter company, or for an extension of the charter period, or you don't feel any trust for them anymore, or something like that, and you want to extend it, or you want to move your boat, then that's possible too. Or you want to just make sure that you're getting all the proper services from someone professional to make sure that you can have a higher resale value and get someone to help you sell your boat and manage the boat while it's getting put on the market. It's also, I think, one of the big reasons why you should use a professional handover management, and certainly what you can expect from us. Is there anything you would like to add to that, Johan?
No, I mean, you mentioned a lot of items here, and I think that there are a lot of issues. So let's proceed. You're muted.
Always good not to be muted. Let's go ahead with some case studies. We have some on our website as well, and we're happily and gladly share them with you as well after we've had some individual meetings to find the right type of testimonial or case study, for example, for you to understand how we can help you or what situation you might be facing. But let's start with Magnus and Carolina Tallqvist, which were both owners that I helped them with the boat in 2014-15, I think it was. And then I left my position at the big charter company, and I then got contact with them a few years ago. And they contacted me to say, well, we're phasing out. We changed our plans. We have bought a new boat for our around the world trip, and we would like for you to help us with phasing the boat out because we're consistently bumping heads with our charter company, and we don't accept the price they're offering, and we would like you to sell the boat for us. That was a quite daunting task. The boat has been through hurricane. The boat has been moved to different places. The boat has been deregistered and registered in 3 different countries. There was really no proper maintenance log. There was survey reports from everywhere. There was the faulty registration. There was missing equipment. There was everything you can possibly imagine. And we had a very disgruntled Swedish couple with the boat. Yeah, we managed to do that. That was actually our first boat owner that we helped 2.5, 3 years ago here. And from there, we had we got a very good understanding of what challenges are and how we can help our clients. And that boat we helped to sell for almost double the price that the charter company offered them. And I think that's quite a successful journey. Quite gladly would share their contact details as well, but they faced everything that you can possibly face with a charter company. Willing to help them, willing to do the phase out, but also knowing fully well aware when they're doing the phase out how much information they're missing and what they can't do anything about the past, and that's often the case. You can't do much about the past, but if you know your rights, then and you expect this as well as part of the agreement, then that should be on your agenda. So yeah, that's one of the cases. And then of course Yuan here, now being the project manager for this phase out management. Got in contact with him one and a half year ago, I think it was, something like that, and we've been helping him with this phase out for his boat that we did end of last year, November, December, I think, and then helping him as well with the sale of his boat. So he can go through a little bit about that and explain your journey, maybe.
Yeah, as you can see, it's the same kind of boat. So Magnus and Caroline, that was a good thing that we had. We were sort of sisters and brothers in this. Our boats had a very similar story of going through the hurricane of Irma in BVI. So it's very valuable, and that's actually how I got in contact with Victor and the Yacht-Match. It's because of the reference through Magnus and Caroline. Now, although the boats are the same and some of the history is the same, it turned out very different. And in my case, as I described previously, I wanted to, and I tried to make a dream come true, where I would sail the boat for a couple of months as an owner and then sell it. But the way that Navigare turned it over, I had to go through the whole hassle of making sure that it was turned over in a seaworthy state. And Victor was there with me, and I spent time prior to my whole crew arriving, making sure that I could do this in a proper way. And I think part of how I was being treated during this whole process is why I'm actually here, because I got so upset, and I realized that the methods they're using and what they're willing to go through as a charter management company or charter company. So I don't blame the actual company itself, because I think a lot of them, in my case, it's Navigare. I think in many other cases, it could have been the same. It made me so upset. So I've sort of made a point to take it the whole way. And I'm happy I did, because now I stand a very good opportunity and chance to really get paid what the actual value gap that I mentioned before is all about. And I'm also, as I said, I've been asked to help out in some other cases, and I realized, okay, I can do this, but we can also get a lot more boats in line here. And in a way, I think we can make a change. We can make sure that these charter companies realize that if we are a little bit aligned, we can actually make the kind of difference and put up something that will twist the way that they're handling investors out of the hands that they're currently sort of in from the charter company point of view, where they're trying to teach or reach us as individuals, where I think we have a lot to gain from making sure that we can show a different path. And it's quite easy. It's just, the path and the way that you have to treat them is by just using logic and common sense, and stick to what is in the contract, what is contractual and what is expected. So my case is almost at the end, but I'm out now helping out in a lot of other cases. So both happy doing that, and receiving a lot of appreciation for doing it. So that makes me happy, and I think it makes a lot of other boat investors happy as well. So that's good. My example has carried away a little further than just being an example, I think. What do you say, Victor?
I'm gonna unmute myself. Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's there's there's a lot of commonalities with everyone, all the different boats, different places, I mean different stories, everything. But when the construct of the company and the construct of the business agreement and the whole, it's very favorable for the charter company. Of course, it's about asking for money for them to be able to run a boat and charter and so forth. So you have to expect that if you, like we said, if you're not really involved, really there on your boat always, and you're they're doing almost a survey, winter service and everything else, then expect to have a very different experience when you're facing the exit of this. The exit is different than having the trading. Trading is always good. Trading is always great, and you don't actually see and get your boat, but you get something else. So please, when we are in a situation where we have a chance to speak to you personally, have a personal meeting with you, and go through what your concern is and your interest, we will of course also make sure that you can talk to someone else if that's needed as well, to share your thoughts about how they've gone through. But we'll make the next slide if this is interesting for you. We don't have to. I see that time is running out, so I see that I shared it. I think I'll do this instead. I'll share this with you, the webinar, the presentation for you to go through, because it's not so important at the moment, I think, to go through the details here. But there's 7 things that we see apart from I think what your experience, which is very important as well as a boat owner yourself, with your own personal experience with a boat in charter. These are the things that we see happening, which is having a lot of promises and guarantees with guaranteed income and all of these things with clauses everywhere that you don't know about, that you have guaranteed income, but at the same time it's on a price on a valuation of a boat that's quite different to if you have a dealer broker with official prices and one helping you, or it's just loopholes on loopholes with cost of ownership. You end up spending more money than you think, but just using your own boat for these different reasons. But the whole guaranteed income race creates a discrepancy, because in the end, what you want to do, what you want to have is someone who is reliable, trustworthy, there for you when things go bad, and make sure that your boat is well maintained. The value in the end is having what we said, the resale value, and having a boat that's actually representable. If you have 10, 11% per year, but your boat is depreciated to 50% or 60% or something like that, it makes no sense of having 10% per year. So yeah, and the big catamarans, of course, everyone here in our industry wants to have you buying the largest catamaran possible, so they can earn as much per week in commission as possible. So that's also a thing we see, but it's also a fact that many of the clients right now, it's easier to sell different types of curated trips on a big catamaran. You can sell it to, a wealthy couple. You can sell it to several people, whatever their reason is, but several of them with no experience or cabin or crude, or there's so many variations from big catamans. That's really, really good. The financial card house, well, as you might know, big charter companies and their charter operations is not really a healthy, wealthy investment. There's a lot of money going out. So they're heavily financed, and floor plans are already available from the financing companies and the shipbuilders. Something very similar to the car industry with the leasing houses and the rental car companies and the dealerships and stuff like that. So it's a race to make sure that they're reselling and trading you into another boat and a bigger boat and so forth. And yeah, if you look at the background of this, there's the financial model it's not sustainable in the end. It just the interest rates and the fact that the charter weeks the prices must go up compared to the new price of boats as well. You can see it's really not really sustainable in the end. We would like to discuss that in detail with you, but it is the industry is based on big leasing companies helping the charter companies out, of course. And programs, points and financing and investments. It's different terminology, but it's one thing is for sure. They're offering something that they standardize, and they want they earn their money on selling the boat. Of course, the charter is there to sustain this first instance in the business. So you can call them as flexible program or custom programs or whatever. They end up being two things. It's either a charter ownership program or it's a charter management agreement. One is in favor for the charter company. You don't invest in your company. There's no transparency. There's no say, and they determine the benefits or let's say the conditions. And a charter management agreement is something where you build, you choose your own boat, you choose a partner to provide the services for you, and you agree together with who will do the management, the clearinghouse, and central agency, and the maintenance of your boat. And that's often a much more flexible and way to make sure that you're informed before you make a decision. So there's about 18,000 boats registered in charter and about 2,800 charter companies and double the amount of agencies out there. So there's many good ways to do it and many bad ways to do it. In-house maintenance and digital platforms. Many companies are now claiming to have really good control systems and standardizing maintenance. I think that's you can maybe testify on this for you on that that's quite good for marketing, but not often something that will guarantee that you get the professional maintenance you need, and that's also logged in a way that we can actually have it create value for the next buyer of your boat. Professional maintenance is one thing, but having in-house maintenance and guaranteeing that the person at your yard can do everything, rigging, plastic, electronics, hull, everything. One person can do that. I think it's a challenge for anyone, but claiming that is a different thing. Independent boutique charter operators. We are, of course, a big advocate for that because this is how we work and operate our management of our boats. We work with independent boutique charter operators. We have written quite a lot about it online, but we do due diligence on all of them. We work with 12 different banks to make sure that they're healthy. We don't work with too many boats in our fleets, and that guarantees that we have a good oversight and good overhead, and make sure that the whole network of people working on the base, people renting the boat, people around you ownership of the boat, all are happy because it's not so stressful. And by having working with different ones, then you make sure that you have someone that's specialized in what you're asking them to do for you. So I think that's very important. I think it's also the biggest competition for the big charter companies today are the independent boutique charter operators, because they deliver more services. They are more flexible. They're able to prolong, extend. They're able to work with curated trips. They're able to work with you actually as a boat owner more than program provider. So that's what I want to say on that. To move on a little bit, we have already explained these. We have talked about this as well. And now we should go to the Q&A. I know it's only 5 minutes left, but we are willing to to extend this, and would love to hear your questions. And feel free to do it in the chat here, and we will mediate them as best as possible, answer them as best as possible. So you must have some questions, and please go ahead. Anyone? Not anyone. No questions. Okay. So either you have made a very good research and read all the FAQs and all the Q&As we have downloadable, or you're just shy. Well, if we don't have any questions, then I think it's in order to say thank you very much for your time here and for staying put. What happens next is that you and I will ask you for individual meetings if you want to have that, to discuss your concerns and your boat ownership and what your plans are, and to as best as possible guide you and advise you at this stage. And then also discuss how we will be able to help you. If you're considering doing exiting next year, it's time of or time is of essence. It's no point in leaving this discussion for next year, because this is really this year and ending now. We need to prepare. Ideally, we would like to go and see the boat and make sure that the boat is. We have some understanding of what could be the problem before the winter service is taking place, because at the winter service we will be able to ask them for a survey report. That's your legal right to have, but also to make sure that they might be able to work on this. And if we leave everything at the end, last bit, then you're in the hands of your charter company basically, and that's not good. So we would like to have individual meetings with you. You're able to. You can make. I'm sending and sharing a link here where you can find a suitable time for you to book a meeting with me. Just use the link there and book a meeting with me for half an hour, 45 minutes, an hour. And we will look forward to doing that on an individual basis. So Johan, thank you so much for me.
Yeah, same. Thank you all. And I'm a bit surprised that there are no questions, but I guess this was definitely
normally quite a lot of questions.
Well, last time we had almost an hour of Q&A.
Yeah. Well, we'll have the individual meetings. And thank you very much, guys. Have a nice Thursday evening it is. And hope to speak to you next week then in our individual meetings.
Thank you
Take
all.
care. Bye-bye.
Bye.